The late adopter. Guys, welcome to a very special video on Bitcoin right now. We're gonna summarize in this video what has been happening lately, what's happening right now, and what we think might happen. So we're gonna summarize all these live streams that we've been having, watching Bitcoin going down, getting rejected, and so forth, so forth. So, you know, very special video, very important one. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, hit notification button and all of that shebang, because we're gonna keep on covering what's happening. Why is this called emergency and why we think it's gonna go down. And while we're going down, you know, all the special events we will be covering as well. Without further ado, let's get into it and, you know, start talking about why is this so bad, why is this emergency. So first thing, you know, I want to mention is that markets are right now going down big time. Let's pop the moving averages on the chart up here. What you're gonna see here, this is the Dow Jones. You can see Dow Jones. This is, let's go to the weekly time frame, because the weekly time frame does really tell the tale. This is already closed candle. Today is Saturday, so this is closed. We got rejected by the 20 and 50 moving average. We are below the 10 moving average. We are going big time on the downside. Stock markets are crashing, but we've been calling stock markets crashing for, you know, around the top up here. We've been calling it up here, you know, so we already knew, but right now it is a little bit more severe. The big crash is not yet about to come. The big crash on the stock market is once we go below 32,008 or something like that. So, you know, we gotta go back below this level on the downside. The same thing is happening on the stock markets right now. Also, we call some kind of top up here. Right now you can see it getting big time rejection from the moving averages. Once we go below, you know, 42,000 down here, something like that, the big drop might seem to be coming. So stock markets are crashing, guys. DXY, dollar cost index, is going up parabolically towards the upside. Let me just remove this line over here. It's going parabolically towards the upside, and we think it's going to continue going towards the upside as well. You can see here it had a nice move towards the upside. Over here it increased the speed towards the upside. This is what, you know, all parabolic moves do. They increase the speed over time. So right now this is the second part of this parabolic move. These parabolic moves usually have 3 or 4 phases. This looks like this is a second phase, and then you got this, you know, at the end, you know, that comes some kind of a parabolic ending to the move over here. That's what we're waiting for to happen. As long as the DXY is going towards the upside, it is, you know, reasonable to assume that both markets and the Bitcoin will suffer from that. So right now this is definitely going towards the upside. Markets are crashing, Bitcoin is going down, and so forth, so forth. So already right now you see that, you know, it does not look good in the world. Let's check what's been happening with Bitcoin over here. And Bitcoin right now is below the moving averages. Ever since we tried to get above the 2050 moving average up here on the weekly time frame, we got rejected by that. There was still some kind of hope, you know, and we went even all the way down here, and there was still some kind of hope. So there was no emergency, there was nothing, but, you know, it was looking a little bit bearish, and we need something, you know, good to pump us towards the upside. Now this looks like it's gonna close below all of the moving averages, and this is, you know, confirmation, some kind of confirmation that we are staying below. But this isn't still what we are actually looking at. If this was just on the weekly time frame, maybe everything would be nice and dandy, but on the daily time frame we can already see that big rejections are hitting in. Around 14 March we started, you know, becoming very bullish after this bullish engulfing candle. This move towards the upside was very nice and all. It was looking great. It was breaking certain resistances, right? Once we hit some kind of 200 moving average, we got extended from the moving averages down here. We got extended from moving average. We are expecting some kind of consolidation. We are expecting some kind of consolidation up here before the next move towards downside. Unfortunately, what this did, it created some kind of extend, smack, hug, dump pattern. You know, extend, smag, hug, dump pattern, which is right now playing out. And on the way downside, we're looking some kind of support down here. You can see here we came to that support down here, but unfortunately we broke the support. So this was a very bad move, because we did not want to break support down here. There was a very nice triangle line up here. I'm not going to draw the bottom support, but this was the resistance line on the triangle down here. There was this was the resistance line on the triangle. We broke that on the downside, which was a very bad move. So we were still having some kind of hope, you know. There was still nice, because, you know, the bottom line down here, wherever it is, right, the bottom line down here was still in full effect. You know, you can also draw this the bottom line, something like this down here as well. It really doesn't matter. But, you know, we are still having some kind of hope that this is gonna hodl, and, you know, we're gonna, you know, break this towards the upside. So what happened lately in the last, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you know, last 7 days, this is the what is, you know, creating the emergency right now. We got a big bullish engulfing candle up here above the resistance, above the 10 moving average. We became bullish, right? We had a second bullish candle up here above the resistance up here, create some kind of double bottom up here. very bullish. Third candle up here, consolidation, because we hit the 20 and the 50 moving average. That was also not a problem at all, not a problem at all. And here comes the problem on this candle up here. This is the candle that, you know, called for emergency live stream, and we did emergency live stream on the daily close because it was that important. It was that important. We called emergency on the candle. Now, why is this candle a big emergency? Because over here we got rejected by the 10 and 20 moving average, but over here we got rejected big time. And ever since the down here, ever since the bottom, we've been saying that this move towards the upside cannot get rejected. If it gets rejected, it's game over. It's literally game over. And we said it's game over if it gets rejected. And over here, we got big time rejection. We tried to get up. We tried to stay up here, which we failed. And I was like, it's okay. As long as we stay up here, it's okay. But we didn't. We went down. We went down below the 10 moving average, below the support. We went down below this support down here as well. Let me draw the line so you can see it because it's just a tiny move. We went line below the second support as well. And right now we are sitting below support. So that was the big kahuna, and I said, you know, we might go a little bit up to here, but you know, the move is towards the downside. The move is towards the downside. So you can see here, after this candle, the emergency started. The Bitcoin is about to crash big time, and that's what we are looking for. So we are very bearish on this channel, very bearish. We called it, we were one of the first, we were the first guys to call the emergency on entire YouTube after this rejection up here, after this rejection, right? And right now you can see here, it's going even further down. The good part is that we still haven't broken on the downside. You can see here this level of support is holding, but this isn't the most important level. This down here is the most important level. And both yesterday and today, right now, we are still above that level. That's around 39,530. We are still above that level, but it does not look good. This is only a move towards downside. It is going to probably consolidate here before these moving averages, you know, start ticking a little bit more towards downside, and we're going to start dropping on the downside. The big drop will come eventually once we start breaking this triangle. I don't know whether this is the correct triangle or the triangle is something like this down here. You can see here a very nice move towards downside. There is different ways that you can draw this triangle, but we are looking for this move towards downside that's going to drop it big time. But first thing that's going to happen before the drop comes is that we're going to close below this level, 39,530. This on binary chart, it might be a little bit different on other charts. But this is, you know, 39,540. That's the level that's going to happen. Once we break that level, you know, all hell breaks loose. We're going definitely on the downside. It does look very bad. So stock markets look bad. DXY, the dollar index, looks, you know, parabolic move towards downside. Bitcoin is crashing right now. This is what we call right now capitulation phase is starting, and we are calling the capitulation phase right over here on the rejection. Once they started, this was the top up here. We are calling the rejection right now. We're calling capitulation phase on the downside. Once this starts breaking downside, once this triangle starts breaking on the downside, we are gonna go into what we call capitulation phase. There is a reason for that, and the biggest reason is because there is a lot of liquidity on the downside down here. So a lot of, you can see these bottoms down here. Below these levels on the downside down here, there's a lot of liquidity, meaning, you know, a lot of people that went long here and long here had a lot of big leverage positions. These leverage positions have, you know, some kind of, you know, liquidation levels on the downside below that level because they're thinking it cannot pull back down. Also, a lot of stop losses are here, and if we go down here below the previous lows down here, a lot of people will get into fear and sell. So big whales have a chance to acquire a lot of cheap Bitcoin on the downside down here. So that's one of the biggest reasons why we go, because often the time the price moves wherever there is liquidity, and down here there's a huge amount of liquidity that needs to be picked up before we actually can go up. This can actually be good for price, because if you go down there, we get rid of all the weak hands, we get rid of all the leverage longs. Once we get into that area down there, we can go up. The question right now is what's going to happen? How far down are we going to go, and when is this going to happen, or when is this going to end? And I'm going to explain, I'm going to tell you all of those things. So let's go to the weekly time frame as up here, and I'm going to explain to you how far down are we going to go. We're going to use the moving average up here, 200 moving average, and 200 moving average, this one down here is historically some kind of bottom for Bitcoin. You can see this on this historical chart up here. Let me just zoom in a little bit so you can see this better up here. Over here, what you're gonna see here in 2014-15, you know, that was the bottom, 200 moving average. 2018-19, that was the bottom down here. Corona dump, that was the bottom right now. So right now we can, you know, technically assume that this is gonna be at the bottom. Now this bottom right now lies at something like something like 21,000, but it's not going to be 21,000, it's going to be 23, 24, 25,000, give or take, and I'm going to explain to you why. So let's go back to the chart up here, over this on this chart up here, because it's updated chart. So why is we gonna go there? First of all, the big reason why we're gonna go there is over here we have a bearish pattern. It's called a bear flag. It goes something like this on the downside, goes you know, something like this, something like this. And these bear flags often are very easily, you know, identified, and they have very easily identifiable targets. And you can see here that the bear flag, or you know, extend towards downside, hit some kind of 24 level down here on downside. You can also see it doesn't go straight down to the 200 moving average, because the moving average continues going towards the upside. And you can see here that we will hit you know, the target at the 200 moving average at the end of the bear flag. So already right now we have what is called consolidation. Is it called consolidation of these targets right now? So we are assuming that these levels between you know, I would say something between 23,000 and 25,000, give or take. That's the most important area right now to look for, because this move on the downside, you know, will go below these lows down here. It will still be above the all-time high up here, which we historically have never gone before below there. So, you know, 23, 24, 25,000, given that in that range. It can go a little bit down and up a bit with the wicks, but this is the range that we are looking for, that is going to go down to. Now, the date when the bottom is gonna hit, because we got the date as well, guys. We got the date as well, and the bottom will be hit around June and July. So I'm gonna explain to you, and I'm gonna explain to you exactly when that's gonna be hit. So let's go to the daily time frame down here. Let's move a little bit up here and remove these levels. So this is 200 moving average, this is the bear flag, and the date is the 14th of June. So this is July, June. 14th of June, why didn't I write it? 14th of June and 13th of July. Let's see, 13th of July, give or take there. So these two dates are very, very important. And you can see here as well that these two dates are corresponding very nicely with the bear flag, the 200 moving average, and the dates as well. So we got three indications that we are gonna hit the button. You might be asking yourself, hey man, where did the dates come from? And that's the moon phases. Now, you might not be a believer in the moons. On this channel, we are huge believers in the moons and the moon phases and whatever that has to do with it. We also got one video, very special video. You might want to check it out. It's on YouTube, my YouTube channel. It's called The Secret of the Billionaires, where we did the analysis on the moons and what we found out. So, you know, what we found out is that moons itself does not actually matter. I mean, they do matter much, but the moons that do matter the most, it's what's called a supermoon or a micromoon, and these come at very special events, either some kind of tops or some kind of bottoms, and that's what you're expecting here, because here, exactly between the 14th June and 13th July, we will be having what's called a supermoon, full supermoon, two moons that are super moons that might indicate some kind of button. So right now we got a three levels down here that we are looking for right now: 200 moving average, the bear flag, and the moons, super moons, that are indicating that we're gonna hit some kind of target around the 23, 24, 25,000. That might be, you know, the bottom for Bitcoin, guys. Once we get to these kind of levels down here, a lot of people will be calling for low levels, you know, one less dump and stuff like that. I think we're gonna be bottom down here. This is gonna do big time, you know, good stuff for Bitcoin, because over here, you know, a lot of people will be out of the market, leverage loans be out of market, so forth, so forth. From down here, we'll have some kind of consolidation phase, and we can actually move up without any worry in the world. But this move on downside, guys, this is the emergency part. This is the, what we are saying, the emergency continues, because right now we're thinking that this pattern up here, consolidation pattern, this last move towards upside and a failure to continue, this move back down and this failure to, you know, recover, this is right now, it's just maybe even next week. I'm betting that, you know, today is Sunday, is gonna be okay, but I think next week we're gonna have some major moves already done. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, because we're gonna update you on all of the emergencies that are happening. The big emergency is gonna come once we start breaking the trend lines down here. I don't know where it's gonna go right now. I'm gonna check it out a little bit more. But once we start breaking these trend lines on the downside, the big dumps, you know, 5–10% Bitcoin dumps are gonna start happening. Once that starts happening, we're gonna be covering that. So be sure to check it out. But right now, I hope you are updated on what has happened, what's happening with the markets, what has happened with Bitcoin, and why we believe it's gonna go down, where it's gonna go down to, when it's gonna end. And I mean, is there anything more I could actually give you? Is there anything more I could give you? Anyways, guys, I was hoping this would be a 5 minutes video, unfortunately a 15 minutes video, so do hit the like button if you appreciate this video. Thanks for watching, guys. Join the KuCoin, get 20% off fees and stuff like that. I gotta show my stuff. Thanks for watching, bye bye.